Hey everybody, my name is Mona Bronson-Fuqua. I am chef instructor and owner of Je ne sais Fuqua, and today we are working with Le Soup as part of a new series brought to you by Hamilton County Resource. This is the season for fresh fruit, especially local. Fruit typically has a short shelf life, meaning it's really tasty for just a short period of time, but that doesn't mean you need to throw it away. Today we're going to cover all the ways to save the taste of summer. When we're making our chutney, we're going to start with a little bit of olive oil. We want to make sure that it's not going to stick in our pan, and we have to saute our onions. I've got some purple onion here. It's really going to be pretty in our chutney, and I'm not going to use a whole lot because we don't have a whole lot of fruit. What kinds of spices might go with fruit? Don't assume that something is sweet and so it must have sweet spice type things. Don't think dessert. Think a little broader. In this particular case, it's going to be a little mustard seed. No measuring spoon, but you want to be careful. You can always add more, but you can't take it out. Start small, sprinkle in, give a little taste, see how it smells, then decide whether you need more. You see how our onions have started to become translucent? That's where we want to be, but we do not necessarily want it to be brown. So we're ready to add our fruit. We're going to go ahead and put that into our pot with our onions and our mustard seed. Maybe you decided that you wanted to make chutney today, but you didn't make compote the day before. Don't sweat it, it's okay. Just go ahead and cut up your fruits that you want to use in your chutney and add it at the point that your onions have gotten softened. It's going to cook completely and you're still going to have a wonderful chutney when you're finished. So one of the things that you want to do once you have your pan with your fruit and your onions in it is you need to deglaze that pan. That means getting the fond. Another one of those fun words. It means that good yummy stuff on the bottom of the pan. This is what we want to add into our dish and make it extra flavorful. So you're going to use an acid to do that. The other thing you want to keep in mind is this was pretty sweet to start with. You're trying to change your flavor profile. So don't be hesitant about using your acid. It doesn't need a teaspoon or a tablespoon. It needs a good amount. We want it to actually come to a simmer, and we're going to let it simmer until it gets syrupy. Cook all the way down till it's starting to get sticky, because that's the consistency you want for a chutney when you're going to add it to other items. You don't want it to be too wet, and then you have to adjust for the amount of water, and you want it to be enough so that you could put it on your sandwich and it's not going to be soggy. Okay, y'all, we're ready to plate up our chutney, but what are you going to put a chutney on? There are all kinds of options. Like I said, a sandwich, a dip, but in this particular case, we're going to use one of my favorites. Love a good chicken and waffle. So we've got our lovely chutney all ready to go. And I don't know about you, but I want a good amount of flavor with my chicken and waffles. We're eating the rainbow. You can check that out online too. Don't forget, we have an option for you to take a look and see about eating the rainbow and knowing which fruits are better when they're actually raw and which ones might give you more nutritional access when they've been cooked a little bit. Finally, want to garnish with just a little bit of scallion. One of the great things about being a chef is that you get to eat. And so I'm excited to have a little bit of this. Okay, our last cooking skill for today is grilling. If you ever had a good grilled peach or some grilled pineapple, it's really good, whether you're putting it on the side with your entree or if you're adding it as a dessert. You got to pick that fruit that is large enough to not fall through the grate. Although you can use a grill pan on your stove, you want to make sure that your fruit is dried off so that it will get a nice grill mark and it's not going to be just steaming instead of actually grilling and getting a little bit of caramelization on it. We have talked about all the ways that we can cook our food and preserve it, but in the meantime, you might also want to freeze your fruits. And there are a couple ways that you can do that. So let's discuss how we preserve through freezing. Smoothies are a great option. You can use stone fruit, melons, berries, bananas, pineapples, or you can even freeze some avocado. It's a good way to keep it from turning brown. What about things like citrus? Well, let's talk about what we're going to do with the citrus. We have a good microplane here because you want to use as much of the citrus as you can. The things you can use are your zest and your juice. So first you're going to use your microplane to get your zest off. I like to tell people that you actually want to give it about as much pressure as if you shave your face or shave your legs. But what you don't want is you don't want the white. You just want the yellow. If you get the white, then you're getting the pith, and that is bitter. And bitter does not make your breakfast, lunch, or dinner better. Once you have your lemon zest all taken care of, you can drop it into your ice cube tray, and you're going to be able to freeze it. And then you can take your juice from your lemon, and you can either put it into an ice cube tray separately, or you can put your juice in with your lemon zest. Just remember, the lemon zest is very lemony all by itself, and anytime you're layering that flavor, you're going to get more bang for your buck. So the other thing you want to keep in mind is once it's frozen, don't just leave it in the ice cube tray. That's a good way for it to get freezer burn. It's going to taste yucky and you're not going to want to use it. Take your new ice cubes, or lemon cubes as they were, put them into a Ziploc bag, and then put them back in the freezer for use as you need it. We've talked about how we're going to freeze our citrus, but let's talk about our other fruits that we might want to freeze. I don't know about you, but I frequently get a whole lot of strawberries right at the peak of season, and I can't eat them as fast as I have them, but I do love to freeze them. I take them and I cut them in half, and I lay them out on a cookie sheet with some parchment paper. One of my kids' favorite things, and one of mine too, are some frozen berries. They're great in the summertime, and so are grapes. You don't want them all bunched up together. You want to give them plenty of room so that they freeze separately and you can use them individually. If you're freezing grapes for your kids, especially if you have little ones and you know that you need to cut them in half when they're eating them raw or unfrozen, cut them in half before you freeze them, and make sure that your children are safe while they're having their grapes. So you take all of these, you freeze them, put them in a Ziploc bag, and you're ready to go, keeping your summer sweets and refreshment available all year round. We've touched on a few ways to rescue your fruits, whether they're fresh or whether they're forgotten. If you have any questions or ideas to share, we would love to hear from you. We are so happy that you joined us today. On behalf of Je ne sais quoi, Le Soup, Hamilton County Resource, please come back and join us again as we talk about forgotten foods and how you can rescue them.